Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Wednesday. If a Wednesday could be happy, but we have the Nexus Gaming series here, so of course it's going to be Happy Wednesday. I am your host, Cat Peach. Today, we have some girl power happening on stream. We've got Pally joining us for Co-Caster. Pally, how are you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
You're getting by.
I'm getting by. I'm actually really excited about these games, specifically in Division B. So today we have Heroes of the United States versus Storm Chasers to kick us off for the evening. Both these teams actually are competing for a little bit. So Heroes of the United States, if they can get a couple wins here and then a couple wins in their later games in this season, they could viably get to first seed in Division BE, so that's something that they have their eyes on. Storm Chasers, on the other hand, very much trying to stay out of wildcard weekend, so I believe a 2-0 here will safely keep them tied for 6th place and therefore avoiding that weekend, if I'm correct. So that is great news for them. We are just finishing up lobby here. So yeah, that is absolutely exciting for both teams, Pally, and it's getting really exciting now that we're heading toward the end of Season 5.
It is, and actually I think if Heroes of the United States wins this match 2-0, then they do move into first, just because the top 4 actually have the same. So
yeah, I know it's really close. Potentially, they are vying for it, but it looks like both teams are ready here. So let us go to our draft for Game 1, where we will be heading to Battlefield of Eternity, ladies and gentlemen. So to catch people up on what happened during coin toss. So Storm Chasers winning out that coin toss, choosing map pick here in Game 1. So this is their battlefield. They banned out Tomb of the Spider Queen. Here's the United States banning out that pesky little Braxis holdout. And for Game 2, map pick going over to Here's the United States, we'll go to Sky Temple once we are prepared for that. But for now, looking at this 2-lane battlefield, battle for the immortals there in the mid. I'm very curious. Also to note, we had a very big patch today, Pally, come in.
We did, yeah. Maybe we'll see Brightwing. First ban Brightwing.
That would be hilarious. I don't think the Kerrigan Brightwing reworks are here yet, but we did have the nerfs to both URL and Blaze come through. So kind of nerfing a little bit of their offlane potential, but off the board immediately are the Shimada brothers here.
That's not that surprising. Especially Hanzo and shreds the immortal with simple geometry, so.
Yeah,
that's expected. Greymane, they're just scared of immortal shredder.
Yeah, I've actually been very pleased with overall the rise of Greymane, but this is the one map we still very much see him coming out. The Malthael man is something that before today's patch would have surprised me a lot, but Malthael got a bit of tuning and apparently can really go into the URL in that solo lane. For what I've been hearing, early results from there, so very interesting to see how that's changing for bans here.
It's actually very interesting because a good Malthael player, at least same skill as the URL player, could potentially beat them already before the URL nerfs. So, I mean, now I just think he wins, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy how just a couple number tunes can absolutely change that. But what hasn't changed is Deckard Kane. So Deckard's still coming in as that first pick for Heroes of the United States. The Johanna Jaina coming up for the 1-2 on Storm Chasers. I very much like. Johanna is just in such a great position as that mainline warrior. Jaina coming in with that burst damage with the snow. Always a big fan.
Yeah, I'm surprised I picked up Jaina this early, though. There are some immortal shredders still out there. A Rainer could have worked. Rainer's really good taking down their wall, actually. I was just joking in draft about Arctanus, but he is very good on this map.
The few times I've seen him come out have been here. And honestly, if you pair that with a hammer that we've also seen on here, it's one of the scariest, I think, potential combinations with the swap into her damage. But no hammer just yet, so maybe getting too ahead of ourselves. Thrall and Li Ming, though, picked up. So that's you have some melee damage, you got your mage damage if you're Heroes of the United States. Curious to see what they
about
pick
Thrall.
up. Yeah,
if that Thrall solo or 4-man.
Yeah, it has the potential to be both.
Okay.
Ana's been showing up lately in a lot of games I've been casting, and it is blowing my mind, to be entirely honest. But I think a lot of people are starting to say, you know what? Instead of just focusing on the heals, what if we also boost our team real well? Nana boosted Jaina could be something to fear. Also a Nana boosted Sonya, along with that Alex Straza for a bit more of that defensive capability with the Dragon Queen.
Okay, so Sonya, Alex Straza. I don't know if I love Alex Straza on this map when Whitemane's still available. Turan's still available too.
Oh, that pesky Tyrande!
Maybe it's just the comfort pick with the Alex Straza. I don't think the dragon is as effective on the map, so that's interesting to me. I like the Sonya. Sonya does really well. Oh, it's offlane ETC. Okay.
Very interesting. I mean, it could be offlane ETC. I wouldn't be too surprised if it was an offlane Arthas either. It's interesting to have the combination. I was not expecting a Zul'jin last pick at a Storm Chasers, but here we are.
What is this?
I mean, so Zul'jin, if, given his trait of being, having more damage with less health, if you keep him just at a very perfect spot, he apparently can chunk Immortals very, very well. So I wonder if Storm Chasers are going for something a little bit cheeky there with that kind of strategy. I don't know if it's something that maybe they're used to playing a lot in general and is a comfort pick of theirs, but it's definitely a left fielder for sure.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about it going into the Arthas, though. If the Arthas gets on Zul'jin, it's probably dead. Just because he has to be low health in order to do a lot of damage. And Arthas shuts that down pretty hard.
Yeah, absolutely. I am wondering, though, does Alex Straza in Dragon Queen form maybe potentially give enough, just a little bit of enough health to barely keep Zul'jin alive, to just keep, putting out damage, and then suddenly you have, the entire team dead or something? I'm really excited about how that's going to pan out, because it's either going to be a miracle or it's going to be devastating, I think, for Storm Chasers.
Yes, definitely. I think we have a better burn, at least, on heroes, I'd say, with the Li Ming, goes the right missile build, and we'll see. Both of them can take down the Immortal pretty convincingly, so
yeah,
it's all about the fight that happens before, I guess.
Absolutely. We'll see who comes out on top here. Game number 1 in the blue, we do have Heroes of the United States. We're going to have Blaze on that Thrall, Watson on ETC, Andrew on Li Ming, Jub dancing there on that Decker Kane, and in the solo lane, Waterboy is going to be on the Arthas.
And on the side of Storm Chasers, we do have Sonya already going top lane. Elijah's on Sonya. We have Goulet on Johanna, Materium on the Jaina, Feldrath on the Zul'jin, and Alex Straza soloing bot in his pocket.
This top lane looks really scary for Waterboy right now. I'm just saying, everyone here on Storm Chasers getting ready for the leap in. The Zul'jin going in, the Condemn coming out. They're trying to get the early Arthas kill. I don't know if it's actually going to happen. So close, barely.
Too much health with the Q. If he's just spamming Q on himself, it's very hard to take down, even if you have 4 heroes chasing him. But it is taking him out of the lane, so he's gonna miss some of that soak. Be an early XP lead on the side of Storm Chasers.
Yeah, Waterboy opted to fully Hearth in that situation, which I think is a good call, but like you mentioned, that's just time that you don't have to soak the wave, and so allows for Storm Chasers to get kind of the one-up on these rotations, start clearing out these waves, and get a slight level lead in their favor here. So we're going to have to see if they want to keep up the aggressive plays. Speaking of aggressive, Sonya, a response gank.
Power slide into a root,
And that is, I mean, the crowd control on the side of Heroes of the United States, with the roots from Arthas and the Suns from ETC, you have the root from Thrall. There's so much control there that is going to, I mean, in that situation didn't have it, but set up for Li Ming in a lot of these fights, I feel.
Can get a full Li Ming combo off of either route, most of these heroes would be dead. Well, I guess Johanna will not be dead, but I can still chunk her pretty hard.
Mm-hmm. She'll get away probably, but it might be.
Or you can just hit unstoppable, walk away, casual unstoppable.
No big deal. We do have a bit of a contestation here in this bottom camp, though. Storm Chasers trying to come in, finish it off the job, but I do like the poke coming out from Heroes of the United States, just reminding their opponents that they're always watching. They're checking those bushes and seeing what's going on. Elijah, though, in the meantime, having a hard time keeping the lane pushed out in favor of the Storm Chasers, so Waterboy doing a great job being able to push with this top camp that was grabbed and get that early lead in that lane.
Yeah, I think it was really smart for them picking Arthas after seeing the Sonya. Especially if we're going to put him top lane. Sonya can't really engage into the Arthas without taking a lot of damage.
Yeah, that's one of the things when you draft such a melee-focused solo laner, which is a lot of times back when, and we don't have Yrel obviously in this matchup, but why the Phoenix works so well into a Yrel is that if you have a little bit of extended range on any of your abilities, it kind of gives you a one-up. So Arthas into Sonya is a really good call. We were theorizing if it would be the Thrall or not, so I like the call there to have Arthas responding to that.
Yeah, definitely. And the both seems to camps at proper times, and we're just going to see them both trying to burn down the Immortal. I don't like the Li Ming just soloing the Immortal. She has the best damage on that team, but she's not going to be able to race Storm Chasers.
Ooh, Storm Chasers getting low there. The Condemns coming out, trying to use the stuns from the Immortal to help in this fight. Feldrith, though, as we talked about, the lower he gets, the stronger as well, and we're seeing that chunking come out as well. Gauntlet, the stun coming out from Watson. Scroll doesn't catch them just quite yet, but they're gonna retreat. But here's the United States, still on the chase a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, they can commit here a little bit. They're closer to their walls. They are a very safe spot if they want to poke it out or just bring them closer to the fort. They're not in any danger there. While Sonya's just killing the Immortal. I think they could have stalled that a lot longer. They had Amani Rage up. So, I think they could have kept.
Yeah, they should
I think they could have kept that fight for a little bit longer.
They possibly could have. The Dragon Queen coming out. That 4-man power slide, though, from ETC was insane. Watson, though, getting chunked down by Sonya is going to fall here, which is going to cause the retreat a little bit from some members of Heroes of the United States. But Waterboy trying to stick around a bit longer is going to pay for that. Ends up going down 2-0 in favor of Storm Chasers. And there's that Zul'jin damage that we talked about, right? We saw how quickly the damage was coming out the lower he got. So being able to keep him alive with that Dragon Queen. Money choice, I would say.
Yeah, that was actually a really good time for the Dragon Queen. I had no faith, and there it goes.
You are being shown the ways of the Dragon Queen. I do like how the general strategy went from, it's great for, you know, specific point like control, and now it's being used as a way more offensive, defensive kind of tool depending on what situation you're in. So I love that people are, you know, starting to experiment with it a little bit more.
Yeah, and that's the perfect time. Close quarters, everyone is in the stun and the Deckard route, so popping Dragon there just saved everybody.
Pockets ends up being taken down. Watson with the power slides have been landing so far in this game. Definitely a force to be reckoned with if you're the members of Storm Chasers. That Sonya Johanna, gonna have to keep an eye out for that.
And I think with a little bit of the buff today to ETC's health, he's a little bit more viable. Can't just be bursted down by the Jaina in 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Which is
pretty nice. Yeah, it's a good day to use ETC.
It's a good day to bring the cow back. Cows are coming home, baby. I like it. Yeah, no, that's a great point. We kind of alluded to the patch earlier, but that was one of the big changes. And Watson going right in, not afraid to take some of that damage from the forts in order to get the kill onto Jaina. Being able to utilize that
Power
health.
of new ETC.
In before ETC is considered OP now.
Goes back to 2 health.
The race is on.
Really good there.
Yeah, absolutely good.
If you can lock down the Jaina, it's worth taking the tower shots. Then a Storm Chaser doesn't have the damage that they need to burst down this front line.
Yeah, and I think the heals coming out from Jub just to make sure that Watson was you know, feeling a bit more safe to make that call is absolutely crucial for Heroes in the United States. Having the faith in your support to keep you alive in those kind of potentially anxiety-inducing calls just kind of shows Heroes in the United States. They were, you know, in the finals last season in NGS, showing they've got what it takes to come back and maybe win it all in Season 5.
Yeah, they might be. They might be there this season, too. But we do have a little bit of an XP in Storm Chaser, so I would like to see them to get a little bit aggressive here when they hit 10. And keep Sonya top, get 10, and then be completely aggro, because they're going to have about 20 seconds there to do so.
Yeah, they won't have too much time, and I like that Heroes in the United States are taking that lack of advantage to get a bit of damage done onto their opponent's Immortal while they can, because they're not going to be able to! Elijah trying to spin to win. The 5-man condemned, though, followed by the Ring of Frost. Blaze is going to be deleted off this map. The Roots trying to find someone else on Heroes of the United States, but they're going to back away. No 10s just yet, and a great pick. We talked about that very small window, and you nailed it, Hallie. They just went in, got aggressive, got the kill on Sonya, and ended up getting the kill on... Sonya did go down, but even with the level 10, still going in, getting the kill in response on Thrall.
Yeah, I'm surprised Heroes of the United States stayed there during that. I know they wanted to get that kill on Sonya, but once they saw the other teammate, they just had to get out of there. I'm not sure why they stayed, but I mean, they didn't get too hurt. That's a half-shield Immortal. They can take that down pretty easily.
Watson, though, going back on the back line, the Sundering Mosh Pit combination, being able to pick off Zul'jin. Gullet now on the run. The heals coming out from pocket. The Lifebinder is there. Johanna should be able to get out. The Unstoppable used to avoid the root from Arthas as well. But long story short, the Immortals still went over to the side of Storm Chaser, so the response from Heroes of the Storm, or Heroes of the United States, my apologies, clean this up before it does too much damage to this fort.
And actually, during that fight, bot fort went down. So, we do have even structure on bot. That Bruiser camp just took down Storm Chaser's bot fort. So that was something that I was not paying attention to, but that is a big deal.
There's too much exciting team fighting going on to say what's a camp doing, but I mean, yeah, we always talk about not letting those camps get too much of an advantage, because left alone for long enough, they can do some serious work. And so I like to see Heroes of the United States contest this top one, given that there's already a lot of damage done to their keep. So both teams kind of safely poking here. These are almost dead as well. The Ring of Frost going in.
Oh my goodness,
Johanna?
Everyone is half health.
Everyone's health bars are melting. Elijah, though, caught in a terrible position, spinning to win just to escape. The camp does go over to Heroes of the United States. Sonya being able to get, or Johanna, sorry, getting out alive as well. That was very precarious for Storm Chasers, I feel. That could have ended very poorly had they not disengaged when they did. So both teams showing they've got teeth here, and they are willing to try to protect any territory that they can claim as their own in this map.
Definitely, and I think we're seeing a lot of good disengages from Storm Chasers, but they did stay way too long after they secured that Immortal. So they're getting aggressive when they can, backing up when they think they need to, but I would like to see them back up even when they have the advantage and not get too excited about it and go and lose all of the Immortal value.
But talking about getting excited, Storm Chasers, whoo, getting really excited. That was a great pick onto Thrall. Should be able to clear up this fort too, with the help of the minion camp, potentially? Or it might just barely live, eating my words there, but the root onto Gullet, the power slide just to make sure the convert is there. The Ring of Frost, though, for a bit of defense. Gullet, so close to getting out, ends up falling anyway. Elijah trying to now be the front line to help with the disengaged. Waterboy, though, trying to find something. Watson with the mosh pit as well. Oh my goodness.
Okay, that is going to be a dead Alex Straza. And Zul'jin, okay. So we have a free Immortal here for Heroes of the United States if they just back up. That's gonna be full shield Immortal. We're still 17 seconds before the Immortal killer on Chasers is up, so I don't think that they're gonna be able to fight this.
Yeah, that was, I mean, that was a great opportunity for Heroes of the United States to get a lot of those kills. But if your Storm Chasers doesn't feel great, to be honest, but now that everyone's back up, they can possibly have the defense of their life. If they're feeling they could pull off the team fight like that, all heroics are up for them. There are 3 still on cooldown for their opponent, so they have a slim window where they can try to make something happen with that advantage.
That is true. I like how they're taking a defensive position, though. If they force Storm Chasers to come into them, a huge, especially since they're gonna have Thunder up soon, and they have all of their ults except for Mosh Pit. But they don't want any damage on the Immortal, so they're just gonna get very aggressive. Even if they lose someone here, if they can secure full shield Immortal, that could potentially be a keep. But
And
ETC goes down. This is a really good turnaround from Storm Chasers. They've played very patiently.
yeah, absolutely. They waited for just the right engagement. We see how low their Immortal is too, but waiting to land the Ring of Frost, which prompted then the Guillotine to come out as well, secure that initial kill. Dragon Queen now trying to make a little bit of distance. The orbs coming out from Li Ming, but there is a lot of damage coming out from the team of Storm Chasers, so they should get, again, this Immortal here, which I forget if they got the first one. Is this 2 or 3 for them?
I believe 2. Yes, it's 2.
All right, so 2 in a row at the very least.
Am I wrong?
I thought there's been 3, and I forget who got the first one, to be entirely honest. It feels so long ago that it happened that
It was so long ago. I don't like how they're leaving the Bruiser camp to do whatever it wants, though, because this is now opening a win condition. If Heroes of the United States wins any team fight, bottom keep wall is down. So they have to at least get this wall in their push, which I believe they will. They do have to be a little aggressive, but they don't want to fight before 16. If they get wiped here, it would be game. So they actually lost out, even though they won the Immortal. They got more structure damage.
yeah, that's one of those hard calls, right? Because we saw Sonya go back to clear that Bruiser camp, but would it have been more valuable to have multiple people doing that, just to clear it out faster so they could get maybe a little bit more push there? And like you mentioned, they are now down their keep wall. That bottom lane is a little bit more vulnerable than their opponent, so it's something they're going to have to keep an eye on as this game progresses, because once that keep goes, that's catapult pressure, and that's the worst thing that you want to see here.
I honestly think I would have liked to see Sonya go back after they got the pick, because then the Immortal was already there. Heroes of the United States didn't want to go down, risk not having 16 at the same time. I think they could have done that very safely.
Ring of Frost whiffs here, not catching anyone in it. I think, again, that was a little bit of a defensive maneuver for Storm Chasers.
Definitely, and we're looking for a mush here. The way ATC is flanking, wants to secure some sort of kill.
And he does.
Sonya. Okay. There we go. Didn't even need the mush.
Didn't need the mush. The threat was there, though, and that's why the rest of Storm Chasers hiding behind that gate very carefully. But Sonya not able to get behind there in time. The kill was out. The Guillotine was used in response to try to do a bit more damage to ETC, but it did not result in that cow dying again with a little bit more health this time around. So we're going to have to see. This is going to be a very interesting Immortal phase. Storm Chasers should about get 16, and there it is. So equal talents. Everyone's up. Sonya just came back up, so we're probably going to see the first half go over to Heroes of the United States, based on how this race is going so far. But after this,
Li Ming didn't go missile build too. We see a teleport build from Li Ming, which makes sense if Sonya's on you. That's pretty typical. But the missiles would have burned down the Immortal a little bit more. That's very interesting to me. But yeah, this fight, I mean, both are 16. This is when you fight. We do have Mosh up, so if Mosh, we can get a Mosh even on one member. It's gonna be pretty good. But Ring is up, and there goes Thrall. There
goes Thrall, indeed. A beautiful Ring of Frost to set that up. The Immortal still going over to Heroes of the United States with a pretty healthy shield, but down one in the push, and hopefully give them a little bit, give Storm Chasers a bit of an advantage in defending this Immortal, but losing it at this point in the game still really rough, especially giving it as much shield as was given. So they're just setting up possibly to ignore the Immortal and actually flank Heroes of the United States. The Condemn goes out, and they're going in, Pally.
Oh my god. I don't know if I like this call here. They have a free defense. They can save this before it gets to keep. I'd be scared of the mosh pit. I know 4 are up, but mosh pit's a very powerful ult, and this has been crazy stunt.
It absolutely is, and I think Watson is trying to wait for the team to regain before they come out and do that, but the mosh pit ends up not catching anybody. Watson getting really low. The Lifebinder is there. ETC is going to go down, but this Immortal, Pally, has been pushing. It went through that top 4 already, working on the keep gate here, and I'm with you. It was a very risky call, and given that they didn't get a kill right away, I would have liked to see them just abandon that altogether, because they wasted a lot of time all for 1 kill when they could have been defending.
They did. And I guess they did not want to see anything happen with Heroes of the United States, with them pushing, maybe pushing bot while they were defending the Immortal. So they wanted to keep them somewhere where they can see them, but I'd like to see them either get more aggressive in that situation or just let Heroes of the United States do what they want to do and make sure the Immortal doesn't take out the top wall. So now we have damage on both keeps, and the minions actually are taking down bot keep right now. So I think they just need to pay a little bit more attention to their structures and less to the heroes.
Yes, Storm Chasers is absolutely just chasing on these heroes. Pocket's taking a lot of damage. Elijah getting body blocked by Watson, trying to spin and win, but Sonya ends up falling. The Lifebinder is there, the stasis, just so Jaina can get it, but it is not enough, and this is 2 down now for Storm Chasers, who try to invade on this bottom siege camp call from Heroes of the United States. But that is a lot of damage already done to their bottom keep, and so this is giving Heroes of the United States an opportunity, 1, to chase down the remaining members, and 2, to get a keep before this next Immortal, Johanna, going down.
This should potentially be game. We have Johanna down for 45 seconds. They can take this keep down really quickly. They don't even need the Immortal, so we might see them going for the win here.
Yeah, it'd be a very interesting call. I think there's a little bit of risk involved, and they are going to back away from it instead. They can probably secure absolutely this Immortal and call this game if they want to. The members of Storm Chasers would be up. I do like the Bruiser Camp steal, though, again, creating some additional pressure here on the map during the actual Immortal phase.
Yeah, that was a smart call. I don't mind that they backed up. They don't have 20. But it was a 5v2, so if they risked it, there's a good chance they made out pretty positively there.
Yeah. They're gonna opt,
Nothing
though.
wrong with playing safe.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like you kind of mentioned before, 1 wipe could just absolutely swing a game in either direction. And so they don't necessarily want to give their opponents that as well. So they're gonna grab this Bruiser Camp on their side to help with some of the catapult pressure, but the fight's breaking out, so they're going to abandon it all together, and here we go. The guillotine going out onto the backline. Lornado trying to catch Elijah at a position a little bit separated from everyone. The power slide is there. Elijah still staying alive for the time being. The Condemn is there for the defense.
I do like how passive Heroes of the United States is playing right now. They're waiting for 20. Storm Chasers is really trying to push into it and force them to fight. They're not being very successful, so this is really patient play. This is perfect from Heroes of the United States.
Yeah, and that patient play is going to net them that kill onto Sonya. Storm Chasers now being chased themselves potentially by Heroes of the United States. They were able to get some damage into that Immortal during all of that, but this should be going over to Heroes. There's pressure on the core right now from some of those catapults, that minion wave as well. So it's going to give Heroes of the United States just that much more time to get a very healthy Immortal if they choose to grab it. They're going to finish up the Bruiser Camp they started earlier and abandoned in favor of that fight, which I do like them finally calling it on there.
This should be game. This should be a game if Heroes of the United States gets Immortal. That's a really big shield. That will eat through the keep pretty quickly and be healthy going to core. So as long as they don't wipe, this should be game.
Yeah, I
but
absolutely agree.
To see the defense. At least we do have ring up. The ring combos have been pretty decent. The Dragon Queen has been used a very good time. So I'm interested in seeing what's going to happen right now. But this is Heroes of the United States game to lose at this moment.
Yeah, absolutely. We kind of see Sonya on the side of Storm Chasers kind of considering, should I go down and clear the bottom camp? Should I be here for the defense? Everyone is just sitting here on both teams waiting for this Immortal to connect with that top keep before making a call. Bottom lane is being cleaned up now. The Immortal's going to start going in, and Storm Chasers now on the rotation. Can they defend this, Pally?
I don't think they can. We have Mosh Pit up, we have Sunder up, we have all of the ults up on the side of Heroes of the United States. This is still a shielded Immortal going onto the core. The Immortal itself can get this core to 50% without dying. So with the heroes there, especially if they get this kill on Zul'jin, it's game.
Yeah, and the kill there on Zul'jin, making this more likely. The Ring Frost coming down, hitting 3 at the very least. Ice Block going to be used by Jaina. Elijah trying to spin and win to stay alive. The shield is down on the Immortal, but the core is at 20% and going quickly. And that is going to be game 1. Going over to Heroes in the United States, showing just how badly they potentially want that first place seed here in Div B.
That was very convincing, I have to say.
Now let's take a look at some of those stats. Actually, I have to say though, Blaze Thrall 69699, nice, very nice. I appreciate that, and
beautiful number.
It's a beautiful, beautiful number. But yeah, I mean, we see how much damage that Zul'jin was able to do. Not necessarily as much as Andrew on that Li Ming though, but still a lot coming out over the board. You know. Acceptable numbers, I would say, all around. Everyone really playing their parts as best as they could. But some of those team fights that were called by Storm Chasers were a bit awkward, to say the least.
Yeah, a little awkward. They were doing some things really well, though. When they had the advantage, they were pushing the advantage. So they were doing that well, definitely. But they were choosing to take fights in very weird spots when they were at a disadvantage, when the Immortal was attacking their keep, when the Bruiser camp was taking bot keep or bot fort. So I think if they're just paying a little bit more attention to the macro game from Heroes of the United States, they'd have a better chance answering it, I'd say. But that ETC was kind of disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, the ETC play of coming out from Watson was something truly to be reckoned with, and I wonder if a lot of the calls made by Storm Chasers were simply one of those, they're not used to that ETC health pool that he now has, and so maybe some overeager calls there, thinking they can easily take him out. I would like to see, we saw a lot of patience from Heroes of the United States that game. We saw them baiting out heroics and waiting for those to be reset, baiting out the Dragon Queen, waiting for that to be on cooldown before really engaging. And so I would love to see Storm Chasers take a page out of that book and be a little bit less eager to initiate when things aren't so heavily, or rather, when things aren't necessarily heavily in their favor. They were always on like even talent tiers and everything when they were trying to make those calls, and I think it was a bit too ambitious.
I agree. Definitely agree. We see Heroes of the United States, especially when they were close to a big talent. They just backed off. They gave Storm Chasers whatever they wanted. Like, okay, you could take this camp right now. We're going to be 13. You can get some Immortal damage. We're about to be 20. And they just played it so patiently without even caring what was happening, because they knew that they could just turn around the fight the second they got that advantage. So that was really cool to see. And if Storm Chasers does the same thing, we're going to see some crazy, crazy second game.
Yeah, I mean, Storm Chasers, they weren't ever so far behind, so I think in game 2, they can absolutely maybe take a win here and get this even across the board. I believe that they have the mechanical skill and the coordination to make that happen, so long as they're not getting too ahead of themselves. There is such a thing as planning too far ahead into the future, and I think maybe there was some of that. They're like, okay, we're gonna plan for after we get a pick on this fight, and then don't think about the fight itself. So we're gonna have to see maybe some adjustment there. We're still gonna see the Genji ban though coming out from them here on Sky Temple.
Genji's just really, really powerful. Swift Strike, both the ults are pretty powerful. I like the Dahaka ban. I was gonna say I'd like to see a Dahaka prioritized here. It's really good on this because he can just soak to whatever talent they need and then dig into temples when necessary. So he's not in play, but we might see some sort of global here.
Sadly,
we'll get Falstad.
Yeah, sadly not in play. Like you said, the ability for... I lost my little overlay controller. I'm trying to find it. I have too many windows open. Dahaka, the global here, is just so strong, and so if you're not going to get it necessarily, good to just have it out, let no one have it, especially if you don't want to play against that style as well, is really important to note.
And okay, is this just the Storm Chasers? Do they like Ana?
Super like, or maybe here's the United States just really hate playing against Nana. Someone had a really bad time against Nana, I think, is what happened, and so they're just like off the table.
I think she can be very effective. I just think her lack of mobility is very difficult when you have objectives that all happen in a small space with no escapes. So I don't get it here, but maybe it's the targeted ban.
Yeah, but potentially that is a very good point. The Muradin, we're seeing the Hanzo this time around. We saw it banned last game for quite obvious reasons, but the Muradin and Hanzo here coming in.
I really like the Muradin. I think he's really good on the points. If you're gonna go Muradin though, I would have liked to see them ban Johanna instead of the Ana. Force it into a kind of warrior lock in a sense. But now I'd like to see maybe ban a healer. Oh no, wait, I have a healer side. Whoops. Yeah, but I would like to see a healer ban from Storm. Decker's already out there. If you take out White Mane, the best healers are out of the game.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what other healers we might see. I don't know if we would necessarily see a Tyrande coming out from Heroes of the United States. The Rhaegar is going to be the removal here for Storm Chasers, which I necessarily wasn't expecting, but I suppose with a lot of the lockdown from Muradin and Hanzo, having a little bit more dive from your support, maybe some additional dive from another hero, maybe that Greymane could do a lot of damage to someone like Decker Kane or Jaina.
Yeah, and cleanse. If cleanse is in play, all those roots are less effective.
Never doubt the cleanse. We are going to see that Greymane, and we're going to see the Blaze coming in. Now, important to know, Blaze was one of those heroes also touched in today's patch, so a little bit, and I forget the details specifically, but not so strong in the solo as he was. Still perfectly viable, but we're going to have to see how that tweaked Firebat ends up doing in that lane.
I feel like he was picked specifically to go against the Jaina burst, but Bunker just got a 20-second increased cooldown, so it won't be available every 5 seconds like it normally is.
Yeah, which, I mean, bless, but also gonna have to be slightly more coordinated with bunkers than you previously were.
Exactly. And I think, yeah, that Jaina can really do a lot of damage to this team. Unless Greymane takes her out right away, which Greymane Muradin is a really good dive combo. Can take out any of that backline. But we see the Zul'jin again. I think he just really, really loves playing Zul'jin.
Just a big old comfort pick here from Storm Chasers with that toothy boy Zul'jin. I always forget what race he is, because I played Warcraft for all of like 3 weeks.
Same.
Because I go to say orc and I'm like, definitely not an orc. Whatever he is.
Troll.
Troll, thank you. Just played myself there, dang.
Before the chat flames.
Chat's gonna be like, oh, these people. But yeah, so you know, the coordination, the overall level of play that we saw from Storm Chasers, I do like that they're sticking to a lot of those same comforts that we saw them do fairly well in. I would like to see the Janna maybe landing a bit more set up Ring of Frost, I think, than a lot of the defensive ones we were seeing in game number 1. But, I mean, lots of questions for that solo lane for me, very much in particular. Both of these compositions got a lot of damage they can put out there.
We do, yeah, we see a lot of that. But I think the URL here, that was it's a better choice than the Sonya was last game. I think Sonya provides immortal damage, but the URL here goes very well against the Blaze. Can hold her own in that lane. People are gonna have to travel to that lane to kill her if they want her dead. She will not die. So that also gives them survivability in the team fights, and URL can get in front of the Jaina, which is invulnerable.
Well, we will see what actually happens here in game 2. So our blue team aiming for 2-0 is going to be Heroes of the United States. We're going to have Waterboy on that Blaze. We're going to see Blaze on the Hanzo. We're going to see Jub on Malfurion, Watson on the Muradin, which leaves Andrew down in the bottom on the Greymane.
And on Storm Chasers, we see once again Feldress on the Zul'jin. Hawkins is playing Deckard, Elijah is on that URL, Johanna's being played with Goulet again, and then Materium is once again on Jaina. Comfort picks all around.
Comfort picks left and right coming out here. This is going to be such a fun map. As we stated earlier in the cast, this was the pick of Heroes of the United States, and so they already won out on their opponent's map choice. So they should be feeling pretty comfortable with what they have here, but the fight that comes out from Storm Chasers is definitely nothing that they can scoff at. They had a lot of fights not go in their favor in game 1, so being able to keep up on rotations, being able to keep a lot of the map pressure that we did see them committing to in game 1, I think is going to be really key for them to set up fights to happen exactly how they need them to go.
Yeah, and I think I like the Zul'jin map a little bit better because he is able to take the camps very early, match the pressure happening with the Greymane Hanzo, which could potentially be a problem in a little bit. We do have simple geometry, so that Hanzo is going to be hurting and being able to solo that boss real quick.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about boss control at all in draft.
That's true, we didn't. I mean, both teams have boss control. We might see a Lornado come out.
That would be...
Lornado, your LW.
Yeah, there's lots of tools for both sides. I don't think this is actually going to happen. But seeing Sacred Ground come out in that boss area instead of Ardent Defender on the URL to kind of set up a bit more control in that space. But I think with the Lornado, that should be enough to have a bit of control down there compared to their opponents.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I would like to see some really cool ults. Maybe we'll get a Haymaker.
There you go.
We won't, but maybe.
I mean, here's what you do. Here's 400 IQ, right? If your opponent URL is going to die, you absolutely make sure the kill is their number 1. You're all gonna fall here. But if your opponent URL does take Sacred Ground, picking up the Haymaker to shove her out of that area if you're Muradin, easy win.
They just set you up there for that.
Absolutely. I mean, it's probably not going to happen. There's probably going to be like a 12-page disposition on why that is a terrible idea. But you never know. You never know. There have been crazier things that happen here. But this 4-man push going strong for Heroes of the United States into this top 4. Damage to it already. Elijah coming in. But it's 2 against 4 and immediately falling here after just getting back, Pally.
Yeah, I mean, you need to 4v1 URL in order to take her down. So that makes sense to me. I really like how they put everybody top here. They gave up mid-temple because they knew that Storm Chasers would get that guaranteed. They're able to get that fort. And the temple's not even done yet. So that was very, very smart by them to secure that kill on Urel and then push very hard. And that's what I want to see Storm Chasing. Just press the advantage when they have it. So hopefully we'll see them do that later in the game. But this Greymane has been pretty effective. Getting camps real quick, got the Bruiser camp very early by himself. He's able to chunk down these tanks too. So I don't know if he's gonna go into Cursed Bullet. I would like to see him go for the throw and just destroy the Jaina in the beginning of each fight. We'll see.
Yeah, we will see, and it looks like Storm Chasers are trying to make something happen to make up for those 2 kills they gave over, but so far it's only pushing away the push of Here's the United States, which is good enough, but Watson going back in for the engage on Rollet. The hardest skid going to be popped there to get out of all those roots. Watson taking a lot of damage, though, ends up using the door toss to get out. And should reset this. I don't see them sticking around for too much longer, unless they can get the pick on Zul'jin, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. We have a 1-level lead here for Here's the United States as well, so they are A-okay going in, trying to get a kill here or there. And they are absolutely invading enemy territory at this point.
Of course, and that was actually a really good play by the Johanna there. Saved Jaina completely. That Jaina should have gone down when Murden jumped on her, but Johanna just kind of put her face in front of the enemy.
That's what she's good at. She just kind of shows up and is like, hey, I'm here, you can't kill me, and then disrupts everything going on in a fight, so.
And now the well is down, so that's gonna give Heroes of the United States a huge advantage for this bot temple. They're gonna get it for free. They're gonna have 10 way before Storm Chasers. The Storm Chasers can't really engage here unless we see Blaze showing on the map, which he is not showing at the moment, so they don't know where he is. But they're still going in.
Yeah,
this is dangerous. This is really dangerous.
It's very dangerous, but it's the last opportunity that they have to get some kind of person advantage, even risking the fact that they don't know where Blaze is. Now showing in mid, they're okay kind of getting the first couple shots of this temple, but level 10 now grabbed on the side of Here's the United States. Watson going in onto Golett. That was so much damage coming out, I believe, from that Cursed Bullet onto Johanna. The heals coming out from pockets are not enough to keep her alive, however, and she will fall here. The first casualty of this bot lane objective.
There will be more casualties if Storm Chasers does not back up. They have to give this boss, which is kind of unfortunate. This is gonna be a bot fort. They're gonna be very behind on structures, but they can't really do anything right now. They need to get 10. They're opting to get the Bruiser camp, though. I would have liked to see them just soak that top wave instead of the Bruiser camp, but I guess maybe they're just gonna push very hard on top.
Yeah, the camp call is interesting, like you said. They could have much more quickly gotten level 10 had they just pushed out that wave, but perhaps additionally pushing out that top lane while they respond to this boss on bottom is a bit of, I guess, alleviation to the bleeding in that lane, but they've got a boss to defend against. They are losing out on an objective as well, and they're going to lose so much in these couple minutes, and they just have to let it happen.
Unfortunately, they do, but Heroes of the United States is going to be 13 very soon. So we need to see some really safe soaking happening, or a pick. They can see Greymane. So they know that they are split. Maybe they're going to aggress onto this camp. They are.
Yeah, with Greymane showing, that's a lot of that damage in the team fight. The Cursed Bullet not there either, giving them a short window to take away this siege camp from their opponents. And here's the United States. They are up 2 levels. They are okay giving away a camp without really doing too much to dissuade the push, as they are focusing on grabbing their own bruisers in the top, giving something for Greymane to push a little bit with once he is done clearing out the camp that he's focused on right now.
Of course, and we do see Heroes of the United States doing that thing again, just waiting patiently for 13. I think that's what sets them apart. They are playing so passively when they know they're close to a talent advantage.
Storm Chasers, however, always looking for that next fight, and Elijah is going in hard on the back line. A lot of damage. The Ardent Defender coming out to save Elijah on that Urel. The stay a while and listen though, locking down Watson in the process. A lot of damage coming out, but the stuns coming out onto Storm Chasers. So many health bars. They're going to try to get away, but 3 of them are going to fall, make it a 4th. And if they can get Elijah, it would be a 5th. Can Greymane actually get it? He's gonna let it go for now. But that is 4 kills just for trying to invade on a camp, and you didn't even get the camp, and you still decided to engage. And they saw, you know, the spell shields that come out from when you're in that area of that top mercenary camp just can protect your opponents. And so I think that was a very brash call, again, coming out from Storm Chasers. I think they're feeling a bit nervous, perhaps, or just like getting a bit ahead of themselves here, and they're trying to make something happen before it's really set up to be.
I think they thought that was the last time that we can fight before 13. Let's go in. They went in a little bit too late. 13 was secured, and they all died. So if they had just been aggressive slightly sooner, we may have seen a difference. Not quite sure. I didn't like the fight there. I would have just rather had them see them pick up their camp, push out their lanes. So all of their lanes are a little pushed in. And now they can't even fight for either of these temples safely.
Yeah, it's really hard for them to fight here, but they're trying to at least poke and prod where they can from a safe distance. But Elijah's going to go all in. Jub going to pop the Tranquility. The Ring of Frost not landing anyone in that engagement. The Dragon Arrow coming out. Bunker for a little bit of protection. Stay a while and listen from Pockets. Trying to end the push, but Golet almost again got away. Very, very close calls, but with 10 HP, the follow up from here is the United States able to take out the Johanna, and that is absolutely end of fight for Storm Chasers. Retreating behind their walls, getting healed up, and 3 levels down need to start thinking about what is their comeback mechanic in this game.
They lost that keep on bot. That hurt.
Yeah, they lost that keep. That's going to be catapult pressure. To soak 3 levels as well when you're down like this is really hard to do.
I think I would have actually liked to see them when they noticed that 4 around the mid temple. It is a 5v4, so they wanted to take an advantageous fight, but I would have loved to see members of Storm Chasers go down and dive on that Greymane.
Watson going in, the vision is out. Storm Chasers is here. They're trying to make sure they don't get this camp. Gola taking a lot of damage here. And Johanna going to be the first to fall. Level 16 here for Heroes in the United States, and they are using it. The Blizzard coming out from Jaina, trying to get some damage in. Can Storm Chasers follow up? The Ring of Frost in the stay a while and listen combo, locking down a few members, but they can't follow up with the damage. And this is 4 Pockets trying to hobble away before it becomes a full team wipe. But here's the United States. They are aggressive. That bunker. Oh.
That bunker saved them. That was actually a really good fight. Jaina locked down 3 in the Ring of Frost and just did so much damage, followed by the sleep. That was almost a win.
That was
until
almost
that bunker.
Yeah, we were curious about the bunker usage with the increased cooldown, and on the side here is the United States just holding onto it for those really clutch moments, being able to coordinate, make sure the team stays alive, and it feels bad for Storm Chasers because they were so close. But in the end, here's the United States, just a little bit ahead of their opponents here.
Just a little 4 level.
Just a puny 4.
It's gonna be painful right here. The Heroes of the United States have a lot of options. They can push this in, try to win game. They can take the temples safely and just let boss push. They have a lot of options, but either way, they're gonna get something out of it. I mean, they do have the 4 level advantage. They're just gonna go for core.
Yeah,
I think this is the win unless there's a crazy fight on the side of Storm Chasers.
Yeah, if Storm Chasers has an immense defense, perhaps they live to see this game a little bit longer, but a lot of damage. There's one already falling, the Dragon Arrow being able to stun the members of Storm Chasers. The boss wailing away on the core. The shield is already down. Waterboy trying to go in on Johanna. Elijah staying alive for the time being. The boss is almost down, but I just don't think there's enough damage if you're Storm Chasers to really negate this defense. And with a 2-0 here in this game, here's the United States getting that much closer. Or I think we concluded they are #1 seed currently in Division B
until
East.
There are some other games.
Until other games happen, but at this moment.
At this very moment, they are #1.
Yeah, we can see how much in favor this game went for them. 13 kills to 1 compared to Storm Chasers. So just showing they can be aggressive when they need to. They can be patient and wait things out when they need to. Very versatile overall, really understanding, even with new changes coming in for certain heroes, knowing exactly how to play into them. We saw Watson on that ETC earlier. This team simply, they have it together. They have it so together.
They do. Yes. They're very good at picking when to fight or when to leave it alone.
Mm-hmm.
I really like how they just gave up some things to make sure they didn't wipe. Especially on the Battlefield game. They backed up out of camps. They backed out of the lane when they knew that it was not the best time, which I love patient play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and they were really aggressive when they had the advantage. So
yeah, and it's funny how the resulting 3-4 level lead that they had was a result of being patient, because when you see that on face value, you might think, all right, they were going ham and not letting go once they were, but instead they were like, no, we'll let this happen. And then the quick turnaround to say, just kidding, we're in this, we're not sleeping, and being able to finish off the job is really commendable here. So I mean, playoffs are going to be interesting if they're bringing that level of play.
Definitely, especially because the top of Div B East is so close. We have 4 teams with 13 points, and everyone else is very close behind that. So just getting to playoffs is a big deal in Div B because all the teams are so close to each other.
Absolutely. I'm going to move us over to an open lobby. We're going to see if we can get an interview with one of the members of Heroes of the United States before we wrap up Game 1 here. Now we are in a lobby. I am going to ping.
We are in the lobby.
We were in a lobby. Now we're in another lobby. Just ping Blaze over there. See who wants to come and talk about that very exciting game. Yeah, I mean, Storm Chasers, we were talking before the draft, they're actually feeling really good coming into this. They've had a really good run so far in Season 5, so they were feeling like they might be able to approach this in a really positive manner, and I appreciate even when teams are seated in, a lower capacity, being able to then prove that they can wrestle with a lot of the big boys and bring the fight. I just think that result of game #1 maybe got to them a little bit. The nerves started kicking in, and game #2 definitely not being as even as we saw on Battlefield of Eternity. Blaze! Watson!
Watson!
I didn't see you pop in here. How are you two doing?
Surprise! We're good. Surprise! Didn't sneak up on you.
I have all my Discord sounds turned off, so I don't hear people like pop into lobbies or anything. So I was like, oh gosh, there's people here. Congratulations on your 2-0. How are you and the team feeling right now?
Everybody's pretty thrilled. So
yeah, it was a good set. Game 1 was pretty close, but game 2 we cleaned it up and finished it out strong.
Yeah, and we have to ask, because we were definitely talking about it a lot during the game. You pulled out the ETC. We know we got a couple number tweaks coming into the patch today. So how is he feeling now? A bit more viable than before?
I don't think it was so much that he wasn't viable before. It was just that, there were so many better options. And on that map, I think it's just more of having additional CC to deal with a lot of the damage that they had. So I think we just needed that point and click CC. In Mosh Pit against an Alex, just trying to threaten them in a way that, it's making them uncomfortable to stand on that circle of healing.
Mm-hmm. And then the other thing we were very curious about, in both games, banning out the Ana, was that more of a target against Storm Chasers, or is that just something that you don't necessarily like playing against? Because we don't see a lot of Ana bans coming out.
It was a little bit of targeted, because we know that their support player does actually on and off play the Ana, and Ana does counter some of the synergies that we try to work with. So it was one of those things that we just figured, let's just get rid of it, get rid of one of their comfort picks, and we can deal with other stuff.
Very cool. Pally, I will pass it over to you for questions.
Sure. I do have a question about the offlane Arthas. Is that something you're just comfortable running, or was that specifically because of the Sonya pick? Or the root chain? Or where did that Arthas come in?
Combination of everything, right? So I think Arthas is in a good place. He does well against auto attack damage. So yeah, so Sonya, it gives us something just to help keep her, kind of, you can either zone with it with the root, or you can lock somebody to, to help keep them off of the back line. But between, a power slide, an Arthas root, a Thrall root, and the Deckard Cane, it's just one more form of CC just to keep them, from basically walking right on top of us, right? Because they had the Johanna, they've got the Sonya. It's just, how do we keep them from walking right over us? I think Arthas is always a good answer.
He helps slow down the game.
I was surprised they picked a Zul'jin after the Arthas was locked in.
Yeah, we were too, honestly. It was when we saw the Zul'jin, it was like, oh, okay, let's see how this goes. I mean, they played it well. I mean, had some good guillotines. I think in the end we were able to kind of outplay that a little bit and not necessarily let him get as much value as they could have.
Yeah, round one though, it was pretty, close game until towards the very end, obviously. So, I just have to say, their Zul'jin was clearly another one of their comfort picks, but I just obviously wasn't enough to deal with all that CC that we had.
Definitely, and you brought us to Sky Temple, so you look very comfortable on Sky Temple. Is that your favorite map? Because that was extremely convincing with the bosses and camp rotations and.
Yeah, we actually were talking a lot about it before we jumped on for the coin toss, and it was just there's a number of maps that we're comfortable on, but it's a map that I know that not as many players have seen us on yet, and just from what we could tell, it was something that we might be able to throw off Storm Chasers a little bit with. So because I don't know if they were expecting that. So
I don't think anyone was.
No, nobody picks temples.
Yeah, it's a less practice map, and
amazing.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like if you, for players that have been playing this game as long as we have, it's just a map we're comfortable with, right? Everybody's seen it. It's I don't know. I enjoy the Korean scene. They love Sky Temple. Why can't we? Right?
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like, so I know last season we saw you and Gilly Shark in the finals for Div B East specifically, and when I think about weird stuff that not a lot of people in your division run, it's usually the two of you going at it, and so I love to see that consistently coming out from both of y'all and using that to your advantage against a lot of the other teams here in the league. But yeah, so thank you very much, and again, congratulations on those matches, and per usual, floor is yours for some shout outs.
Shout out to the team, everybody showing up tonight, playing well, so it was really I'd say really good set overall, and shout out to Waterboy and NASCAR and Jesus.
I'd like to say a shout out to our sponsors, if we had any.
Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. To any that might be out here. Awesome. Well, thank you.
Thank you for casting.
Oh, of course. It was our pleasure, and we hope you get to catch it later on. As I hope you weren't watching it while playing, but if you were, very impressive. But
You're
thank you.
Technically first at the moment, so congratulations.
Yeah, for a small window of time, unless your opponents entirely screw things up in their next couple matches. I think, for the next few minutes, you are #1 seed in Division B East, so congratulations.
Thanks. Hopefully we can keep that.
Well, there you go. Best of luck to you for the rest of the season, and we will definitely be seeing you soon.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is match #1 for this evening. Coming up, though, at 7:30, we got a bit of time. That wrapped up a bit early, but we are going to have a Div A game, and I believe that is going to be Division A West, but I will have to refresh myself. We are going to have Team Showboat versus Balloon Grant Us Strength, and I've been wanting to cast Balloon all season just because of the name. It is
best name.
It's
name.
Such a good name. So we're gonna have that coming up at 7:30. So make sure you hang out Also, Bahamut, I missed it before. Thank you for the host and for the bit cheers, and to everyone hanging out in chat, those who followed during the stream. Thank you so much for coming out here and supporting the Nexus Gaming series. I am Cat Peach, this is Pally, and we will be back soon.